and when, although I wasn't there, he said I was his friend, which came as some surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. I know, not me. I never lost control. Your face took place with the man who sold the world. And shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for form and land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed a gazeless stare at all the millions here. We must have died alone a long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. We never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Not me. We never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world.
Welcome back to Contents Under Pressure with Captain Wickstrom and, of course, Pumpkino. We're doing a little bit more art stream. I'm going to be working a little more on the castle backdrop that I've spent, I don't know, a couple hours over a few days on it now, and I'm going to try to polish it up to some state that I could consider it good enough not to keep revisiting it. So why don't we check that out, guys? How's it going, special friends? Thank you for showing up, Jerome. I appreciate you. Starting over is always, you know, it's always a challenge, but I think people will start showing up at some point. Just give it time. Add a little bit of texture to this green. Needs to be richer colored than it is. And I can't taste it. But yeah, I saw that with the last video too, an instant dislike. That is clearly some kind of a bot algorithm at work. So I'm not worried about it. It's not anybody actually watching the video because you're the only one currently watching it. So unless you're the one that did the dislike, and I don't see why you would draw attention to yourself if you had. But I think you see my point. If there's only one viewer, how can there be an instant dislike without even watching? So bad I can't taste it. I need a dense watercolor for this. What? Shouldn't be over it. There we go. Burning me, burning me. I need to find out if there's a way to consistently trigger a line drawing mode in this, because that would be really useful to me to like shortcut it. I'm sure there is. I just like this right here. This is kind of what I want right there. I want like a kind of a okay, one thing I can see right off the bat is that's way too high.
4 seasons in one day, lying in the depths of your imagination.
Let's get rid of this.
Worlds
it was fine for a sketch, but
sun shines on the black clouds hanging over the domain.
Let's clean that up.
When you're feeling warm, the temperature could drop away. Like 4 seasons in one day, smiling as the shit comes down. You can tell a man from what he has to say. Everything gets turned around, and I will risk my neck again. You can take me where you will.
Alright, that's just to give me a straight line for the pillar.
All the things you
column.
can't explain.
The tower.
4 seasons in one day. Blood dries up like rain, fills my cup like 4 seasons in one day.
Looks pretty good.
Doesn't pay to make predictions, sleeping on an unmade bed, finding out wherever there is comfort there is pain, only one step away, like 4 seasons in one day. Blood dries up seasons in one day.
Alright, that's what we need for this.
Only you can do what must be done. You know it's some way you're alive like me. You're just a prisoner, and you're trying to break free. I can see a new horizon underneath the blazing sky. I'll be where the eagles flying higher and higher. Gonna be a man in motion. All I need is a pair of wheels. Take me where my future's lying. Set down those fire. Burning up. Don't know just how far that I can go. Soon be home. Only just a few miles down the road. I can make it. I know I can. You broke a boy in me, but you won't.
I'll break the man.
I can see a new horizon underneath the.
How did that get in there?
I'll be where the
Oh,
flying high.
I know why.
Gonna be a man in motion. All I need is a pair of wheels. Take me where my future's lying. Set down those fire. I can climb the highest mountain, cross the wildest sea. I can feel St. Elmo's fire burning in me, burning in me.
scale is a little off.
Last night I had a dream about you. In this dream, I'm dancing right beside you, and it looked like everyone was having fun. The kind of feeling I waited so long. Don't stop, come a little closer as we jam. The rhythm gets stronger. There's nothing wrong with just a little fun. We were dancing all night long. The time is right to put my arms around you. You're feeling right, you wrap your arms around you. But suddenly, I feel the shining sun. Before I knew it, this dream was all gone. I don't know what to do about this dream and you. I wish this dream comes true. I don't know what to do about this dream and you. We'll make this dream come true.
Still need to buy Pillars of Eternity. Interesting segue. man.
You'll be glad, baby, when you're found. That's the power makes the world go round. And it don't take money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden, it can be cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. They say that all in love is fair, yeah, but you don't care. But you know what to do when it gets hard on you. And with a little help from above, you feel the power of love. Feel the power of love. Can you feel it? Don't take money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. Tougher than diamonds and stronger than steel. You won't feel nothing till you feel the power. Just feel the power of love. That's the power. That's the power of love. Feel the power of love. Feel the power of love. Feel the power of love. Everyone's watching to see what you do. Everyone's looking at you. Oh, everyone's wondering, will you come out tonight? Everyone's trying to get it right, get it right. Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance.
Hey Havoc, how's it going, bud? Occasionally the stream stops on your end, does it? Have you tried adjusting the quality? I'm not having any trouble. No frame drops here.
You want a piece of my heart? You better start from the start. You wanna be in the show? Come on, baby, let's go. Everyone's looking to see if it was you. Everyone wants you to come through. Everyone's hoping it'll all work out. Everyone's waiting, they're holding out. Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance. Hey, hey, everybody's going off.
How you doing, Havoc?
Everybody needs
And please, guys, if you can, let
you want a piece of my heart.
the stream regs know that I'm streaming. I mean, I put it up on Twitter, I put it in the Discord,
Be in the show.
but a lot of people that didn't show up. I mean, that's also why I am streaming on a new format when I do creative, because a lot of the people that frequent the channel don't seem to really want to see it. So I get that. But for those who do, please let them know. Let them know that I'm streaming on YouTube now. Let them know.
Baby, let's go. You want a piece of my heart? You better start from the start. You wanna be in the show? Come on, baby, let's go.
See the new Fallout trailer? Fallout 76? I didn't. I know that Agent said he reported them for basically not having any content. Agent's a funny guy.
I got this strange fascination for this chick down the hall. Reliable information, yeah. Says she ain't giving up the ball. But Friday night, I'll be checking it out from the back of my bed. Fast time to reach my high. Having a ball. Fast time to reach my high. Riding on the wall. Just yesterday, my friend got busted. She came home smelling like smoke. And it's such a shame when you're not trusted. She only had one little toke. Yeah, the fear that you might fall is driving you up the wall. Fast time to reach my high. Having a ball. Ow. Fast time to reach my high. Riding on the wall. Fast time to reach my high.
So how does it look?
Having a ball. Fast time to reach my high.
Fallout 76.
Riding
Are they still using the same junky engine they've been using for years, or did they finally move on?
fast time.
Because that's one thing I told myself. I'm not going to buy another one of their games until they change the engine. They absolutely need to change the engine.
To reach my high.
Sometimes I wonder how I'd ever make it through.
through this world without having you, I just wouldn't have a clue. 'Cause sometimes it seems like this world's closing in on me, and there's no way of breaking free. And then I see you reach for me.
Make an overlay that looks like an 80s TV radio show.
But wanna give in.
If you make it, I'll use it, dude.
And then I see you, baby, and everything's alright. Everything's alright. When I see you smile, I can face the world. Oh, you know I can do anything. When I see you smile, see a ray of light. Oh, see it shining right through the rain. When I see you smile, baby, when I see you smile at me. Oh yeah. Baby, there's nothing in this world that could ever do what the touch of your hand can do. It's like nothing that I ever knew. Hey, and when the rain is falling, I don't feel it, 'cause you're here with me now. I wanna look at you, baby. It's all I'll ever need. It's all I'll ever need. When I see you smile, I can face the world. Oh, you know I can do anything. When I see you smile, I see a ray of light. Oh, I see it shining right through the rain. When I see you smile, baby. Baby, when I see you smile at me, sometimes I wanna give up. I wanna give in. I wanna quit the fight. Then one look at you, baby, and everything's alright. Hey, everything's alright. It's alright. When I see you smile, I can face the world. Oh, you know I can do anything. Yeah. When I see you smile, I see a ray of light. Oh, I see it shining right through the rain. Yeah. When I see you smile, yeah, I can face the world. Oh, you know I can do anything now. When I see you smile, oh yeah, baby, when I see you smile, smile at me. In a lifetime made of memories, I believe in destiny. Every moment returns again in time. When I've got the future on my mind, know that you'll be
Meet me halfway across the sky. It's a new beginning, not another night.
In a lifetime, there is only love. Reaching for the lonely one. We are stronger when we are given love. When we put emotions on the line. Know that we are the timeless ones. Meet me halfway across the sky.
They used the Fallout 4 engine for the trailer?
To
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
night.
I won't buy another Fallout creation engine game from them. The last one was
New beginning
showing its severe age.
of the light.
It explains why they got something ready so soon, though. They basically pushed out another creation engine game. Very lazy, Bethesda. Not unexpected. I mean, Bethesda's king of lazy.
Meet me halfway across the sky. Out where the world belongs to only you and I. Meet me halfway across the sky. Make this a new
got a lot of familiar props in it. Yeah, that's not a good sign. I'm sure there's already people that have asked if it's going to take place on the same engine or not. If they don't weigh in on that, then the answer is probably yes, it is. God damn it, I got it on the wrong layer. I hate that.
So tell me why can't this be love? Straight from my heart. Oh, tell me why can't this be love? I tell myself, hey, only fools rush in. Only time will tell if we stand the test of time. I know you got to run to win. And I'll be damned if I'll get hung up on the line. Hey, no, I can't recall anything at all. Oh, baby, this blows them all away. Woo! It's not what it takes. So tell me why can't this be love? You want it straight from the heart. Oh, tell me why can't this be love? It's got what it takes. So tell me why can't this be love? Straight from my heart. Tell me why can't this be love? Baby, why can't this be love? Got to know why can't this be love? I wanna know why can't this be Jungle life, I'm living in the open. Native beat that carries on. Burning bright, I fight a blues a signal to the sky. I see the wonder, there's a message get to you. tonight. Give me the other chance tonight. Oh yeah, night tonight. Give me the other night tonight. You won't play night tonight. Give me the other chance tonight. Oh yeah, night tonight. Give me the other.
Browser's too slow. I figure there's gonna be a little bit of adjustment to it for you guys.
Oh
End of playlist? No. Stuck on a dumb, empty song. Those take forever to skip.
Shadows go so long before my eyes, and they're moving across the page. Suddenly the day turns into night, far away from the city. Don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait. Ooh, baby, I love you, wait. Wanna tell you I love you, wait. Wanna be with you night and day. Moon appears to shine and light the sky with the help of some firefly. I wonder how they have the power to shine.
What's all happened with this?
I can't see them,
Got all blurred somehow.
but don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait. Yeah. Ooh, baby, I love you, wait. Wanna tell you I love you, wait. Wanna be with you night and day. Well, don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait. I can see the sunset in your eyes, brown and gray. Besides, clouds are stalking islands in the sun. I wish I could buy one out of season. But don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait. Oh, ooh, baby, I love you, wait. Wanna tell you I love you, wait. Wanna be with you night and day. Ooh, baby, I love you, wait.
Oh, crap. It's gonna take a long time to do brickwork on these. Oh, snap.
Walk right in too close to feel the pain. I'm lost in you. Oh, now you strike the match and I'm the flame. My heart's ablaze. Feel the heat of your desire. Touch that piece of fire. You've got
Got me burning. Got me burning. Got me burning. In the You got me burning. Burning in the third degree. This was a good scene. This was music from the nightclub in Terminator. You got me burning. Come on, chat, sing it. Got me burning. Third degree. You got me burning. I should probably come up with a brush for these brickworks and then just do it over it instead of manually. I do a lot of things the hard way because I don't have a plan. I think that's the main thing. I don't have a plan. Let me see here. Let's see, how to make a custom brush in Clip Studio Paint. Do 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 do. Oh, my back. My Beethoven.
Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you.
'Cause I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to
I've been waiting for so long now. I finally found someone to stand by me.
We saw the writing on the wall as we felt this magical fantasy.
Gonna try downloading this brick pack and applying it, see how it looks.
So we take each other's hand, 'cause we seem to understand the urgency. Just remember,
You're the one thing
I can't get enough of
there. I don't know if that's gonna work. I mean, that creates like a very bricky thing if you paint it, right?
Had the time of my life.
But what if I scale it down?
Never felt this way before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I hope it don't take you.
Yeah, I don't think it scales it down. It just alters the way the brush looks. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't think so.
I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Hanging on the promises and songs of
I mean, I guess for larger objects, it'll probably work okay.
I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again. Here I go again. Though I keep searching for an answer, I never seem to find what I'm looking for. Lord, I pray you give me strength to carry on, 'cause I know it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. And I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting.
You can see where it's like basically creating one huge brick right there, right?
I'm just another heart in
One huge textured brick. I don't
waiting on love.
I don't think that's what I want. You can see it there too.
For the rest of my days, 'cause I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. And I made up.
Yeah, it looks like it's still drawing it in the same spot. It's just using a smaller brush.
Wasting no more time,
So that
but here
doesn't really seem like something I can use.
I go again. Here I go again. Here I go.
Maybe that'll help a little bit.
'Cause I know
No. going through the Kickstarter updates? Yeah, I think it's not coming out this year, guys. I apologize, but my contractual obligation to the game ended sometime last year, but I've still been doing stuff for them on the side. Like just yesterday, in fact, I did another police officer for them to put in the game, and I do think that some of it's feature creep getting in there, causing some problems, but I'm sure they'll work it out. I mean, they're really dedicated to getting that game out. I mean, what I'm doing right here is not my expertise. This is just... Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not my area of expertise. But not only is it kind of a good study for me, but I kind of started it just to give myself something to do, because as I've said to you guys before, my history with artwork didn't begin doing it for the pleasure of it, like some people. I didn't do it just for the pleasure of it. I did it because I wanted to learn from a technical standpoint how to do it for video games. That was my driving ambition since I was a child, was to learn how video game artists did their art, because I wanted to do that for video games, not like some people who will sit there and they'll spend weeks and weeks on a painting for the pleasure of it. While that really impresses me, I've never understood the ability for somebody to do that, like just for the sake of it, without any other goal than to do it for its own sake. And I'm trying to do something like that now to see if it results in an improvement in certain areas where I'm lacking skill, because these aren't things I would normally do, because I don't normally get hired for it, if that makes sense. So because it's not something I'm hired to do, it's not something that's in my active skill set. That said, I have from time to time worked on backgrounds. I mean, I think you guys can see that I'm at least vaguely competent with techniques, because I have done this. It's just not something I've ever specialized in or put a lot of effort into. And I think if I start doing some of this stuff, whether or not it's something I'm being paid for, I think I'll do it more often, you know, and I'll get better at it, instead of just having a very narrow set of skills that never change over time. I would definitely like to expand my abilities. So if down the road somebody does say, oh yeah, we're looking for a background artist, and here's the other thing, I'm not fond of doing backgrounds. They take a lot out of you, especially if you don't know any tricks. Since I've never done it like as a full-time job, and I never thought about doing backgrounds as a full-time job, I don't know the tricks. So I do everything the hard way, like what you're seeing right here. I'm sure there's a way to make your own brushes to do this brickwork, so you just kind of like quickly lay it on and then go back and make some corrections. But I haven't put energy into learning that. Definitely a weak spot on my part, but I'm willing to admit it. Again, it's with a caveat. It's never something that I intended to do for the sake of it.
And you can dance
So if you understand that,
for inspiration.
this is why I don't call myself an artist, by the way. If you understand that my mindset that I only got into artwork for video games to work on video games, that's it. Like, I never really thought about it from the beauty standpoint or anything when I was growing up. If you understand that I had a very practical reason, a very specific reason, laser focused, then I think you can understand why I wouldn't spend too much time on this other stuff. And also, hopefully it gives you an idea why I don't call myself an artist. I do think there is a difference between somebody that's technically proficient and somebody who purely does it for work or as a means to an end. And that's me. It always has been me. You know, I respect people that do art for the love of it and that are really good at it. And I know there are people that like think I'm putting myself down. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm being honest about it. I do think that there's a not inconsiderable difference between somebody who learns something to apply it for work and somebody who learns something for the joy of it and because they have a natural bent toward it. I've never seen myself as having a natural eye for art. It's something that I have very much trial and errored my way through my whole life. A person who I think had a natural eye for art, my brother. But he stopped doing it. He was one of those people that very young could reproduce Disney drawings and stuff like that. Very well. Not just like crappy, but he could reproduce the stuff very well. And he gave up on it. What's weird is my focus was entirely different, but I stuck with it. And it's not something I ever really wanted to stick with. Like, I didn't want to be an artist regular. I wanted to use it as a staging point to become a game dev. And it worked, but it's kind of stuck me there. I kind of gotten stuck there as a result, and I don't want to be. So, what can I do about it? I can try to fund my own games. I mean, there are definitely things that I can do to, you know, break out of the matrix, so to speak. I was really hoping that Pixel Noir would start selling last year, and that it would do well enough that I could bankroll my own fully commercial project finally. That's kind of what I want to do ultimately. I want to produce my own game, hire my own staff, make them do the things that I absolutely don't like to do, like backgrounds, so that they look better than the ones that I would have done. Because again, I really don't like to do them. And that's still very much in my mind. I think I might be able to copy this brickwork for the other big tower. save myself some time.
Like you tied me down. I was such a clown. You had me having your way. Oh, no way at all.
Well,
All I can take.
I know my sprite work is competent enough to get me commercial jobs. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be working in commercial games. But I don't think I sell myself short.
So why?
I think I'm just very honest about my limitations and willing to accept them instead of like some people I've known that work in the industry. They talk themselves up endlessly, and I look at their work and I'm not impressed. So I don't do that about myself. Like, you can sit there and say, oh, well, your work is shit, and I'd be like, some of it probably is. I'm not affected by that because I'm my own worst critic. You can't beat me at being a critic of my own work. You can't. You cannot. You simply can't. That's why, you know, anything a dev is going to say harsh about my work, I've already thought about it.
Making love to whoever I please. I gotta do it my way. I gotta do it my way.
And it keeps me looking at how I could do things better. So I consider it a net positive. If I saw all of my stuff as flawless, it's basically a soundboard. I just, nobody would make an impact on my opinion if I didn't think that I had any flaws. So I think my self-awareness is a good thing. Of where my strengths are and where my weaknesses are. I know I'm very, very strong when it comes to animation. I spent a lot of time, years, working on my animation skills. So that's one of my strong points, and I know it. And trust me, devs know it when they hire me. That I get a lot out of a few frames. That's always been something to me, to maximize the amount of bang for your buck in terms of frame rate. I started that way almost immediately, which is why over the years I've refined it and it's gotten better and better and better. Because that's how I started. My plan was always to like make the most of the frame rates. I mean the frame counter I had. So games that have really restrictive requirements, they don't have to worry about it with me. I can work around that. But that, generally speaking, it's not a skill set in high demand anymore because of the way computers are now. But when I was growing up, consoles were still with rigid limitations. You look at what the original Nintendo could do, and it's insane how they were able to get some of the stuff they got out of the engine with the limitations it had. Very, very restrictive back then. And of course times have changed, and now really they don't even consider, for the most part, gamer rig limitations. You look at Star Citizen, you look at how it releases in alpha, and there are games that release, like, do full release that are like that are just terrible on systems. And sadly, that's like the prevailing mindset, is that they don't consider people with like low-end rigs anymore. There might be some like limited support for it, like, oh, you can drop the resolution if you have to, but they don't try to accommodate those people. you don't have to worry so much about that anymore. Which is a good thing. It's good not to have to worry about technical limitations when you're developing a game. You can focus just on producing the experience you want. Obviously, that's a good thing. But, you know, when I was learning, it was very much about, like, even the computers of the time had very, very harsh limitations. You look at the old PCs, very harsh limitations on what you could do. Probably gonna take a break in a bit. My hand is really starting to hurt. I haven't done this stuff. I haven't done like large scale painting and stuff in a long time, and my pinky finger's blood red at the corner. Ugh. These two fingers. I always have trouble with these two fingers with the mouse. Hey, Regine, how's it going, bud? I got 2 tickets to Parasites. Basically, I just go back to spots that look like they're missing something, and I'll just add in like a little extra brick or something to fill it in. In the air tonight. For all my love, oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord. You told me you were drowning. I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Basically, I'm just creating little tiny bricks here and there. And eventually they take on a pattern. Your eye will build a pattern for them on your own. Fill in the spots that don't look right, which is what I want. That's the best part. Don't worry. How could I ever forget it's the first time, the last time we ever met? But I know the reason why you keep me silent. No, you fool me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows.
Turn it up.
Getting there.
Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home just like you. Singing songs about the Southland. I miss Alabama once again, and I think it's the same. Yes. Well, I heard Mr. Young sing about her. Well, I heard O'Neill put her down. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember. I said that man don't need him around anyhow. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are blue. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. In Birmingham, they love to go now. Boo, boo, boo. Now we all did what we could do. Now Watergate does not bother me. Does your conscience bother you? Tell the truth. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are blue. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Here comes Alabama.
Make sure you guys hit that subscribe if you haven't.
Now Muscle Shoals has got the swampers, and they've been known to pick us on too. Lord, they give me on so much. They pick me up when I'm feeling blue, and now how about you? Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are blue. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Sweet home Alabama, oh sweet home, where the skies are blue and the numbers true. Sweet home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Yeah, yeah. My dollars got the answer.
I wouldn't mind it if it was just like 1 to 2 player co-op. But that's part of the trend, you know. Have you guys ever looked at the Steam boards for like a single player release game? Like honestly, have you guys done that? Because I have. There's always like people that come in and like, is this multiplayer? If not, no buy. there's no excuse for any game made in 2018 not to be multiplayer. Except if it's a story game and it's better as single player. It's like people are so polarized now, they can't even see past their own hubris. They can't. And they choose not to. It's like... So, no games ever made should be made in a way that doesn't appeal to you. I mean, it's good to know that we have conscientious individuals telling us what the nature of games should be. Across the board, for everybody. These people that like, no multiplayer, no buy. Like, then don't buy it. Nobody cares whether you buy it or not. Jeez. Look past your own, narrow worldview for a bit. There are people that enjoy single-player games. In fact, up until more recently, single-player games dominated the market. Sadly, the only type of multiplayer games that really dominate the market are PvP battle arena games. That's what they're really saying. I want more opportunities to kill other players. That's what I want. It's like, are you 5 years old? It's like, come on. Yeah, I should also point out, guys, that Windows forced its update through while I was asleep last night. And when I woke up, my audio settings, my microphone wasn't working at all. So if you guys, well, when you guys are forced to update, if you haven't yet, I'll give you guys a little tip. Windows seems to have added a new microphone setting without telling anybody, and it's Windows I. Yeah, hold down the Windows button, press I, go to your privacy, and then under microphone, there's a new button there that they've added called Allow Apps to Access Your Microphone. It's off by default. When I restarted, it was off by default. They didn't tell me about it, so I could not get my microphone. I could hear myself in the microphone test, but I could not get it to broadcast to Discord or OBS. You have to turn that on. And that was off by default. So thank you so much for once again proving to me how garbage you guys are as a company. As if I needed any more proof from Microsoft that they just unilaterally push through extra trash and they don't even tell you about it. Hell, they don't even enable it by default, so you can just go your merry way. It's like, really?
I see you see me, but you're blowing the line when you're making a scene. Oh, girl,
this feeling that the next version of Windows is going to be a cloud-based service that you can rent. I just do. It's going to be like Adobe. Another way for them to separate people from their money. Well, that was a lot of work. I don't know if it was worth it. What do you guys think? Oh.
I would die for you. I would die for you. No need to worry, no need to cry. I would die for you. I would die for you. You're just a sinner, I am told. Keep you fire when you get cold. Make you happy when you're sad. Make you good when you are bad. I'm not human, I'm a dove. I'm your conscience, I'm love. All I really need is to know that you will
W stare. Eh.
die for you.
Yeah, but I have to replicate that even larger with this foreground tower. Chat. I don't want to. second. I think I have a copy of the picture too. You guys can see kind of what I'm working with here. This is the original. And there's mine so far. It's not great, but it's not great. Well, managed to get 3 people to watch it. So I think I'm gonna shut down the stream for about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, then I'll come back on Twitch to do some gaming, guys. I want to thank you guys for showing up, all 3 of you. You guys are great. Thank you so much. Do spread the word that I do creative streams on YouTube now. I would really appreciate it. A little more coverage and some more people visiting would be nice. I wonder how you get subscribers during live streams. I wonder where it shows up on live streams. It's probably similar to Twitch. But yeah, I've got to get the word out so that I can start getting more people in. But thank you so much, guys. I'll see you over there.